Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your boy Varun Chopra, and today we have a very special guest with us, a very dear friend of mine, Ronak, and he's doing his masters from Australia. And Ronak, would you like to tell something about yourself?
As you mentioned, I am pursuing my Masters of Business from University of Queensland. I did my undergrad from Symbiosis, and I am from Indore as well.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, so I think first things first, why did you decide to do your masters from abroad? Why not from India?
I did prepare for CAT, that is the exam that you need to give for your masters from any university in India.
Yeah.
But वहाँ पे ऐसा like I did realize like I had a couple of friends and their siblings and a couple of people who I knew who scored like a 98 percentile, which technically means that you're in the top 2% of the country's population.
Yeah.
And they still did not get like a call from their preferred college, or उनके पसंद का या उनकी choice का नहीं मिला, which is disappointing. So I was like, if I'm putting in efforts, I want a college of my choice, I'd rather go for studying abroad than running like it's more of a rat race. So instead of that, I would rather prefer studying abroad.
So when did this journey, this study abroad journey start? As in from preparation to even your research and all. When did it actually start?
Yeah. So I mean, I've been deferring for 3 semesters, so it's been a year and a half since I've just deferred. I started preparing in I suppose mid 19.
Yeah, and then due to COVID, you had to defer for 3 sems.
Yes. So I gave my IELTS in the month of September of 2019. And then I was about to start my studies in July 2020. That is when at least like the preparation part. So that is when that part started. I prepared for IELTS for like about 2 months at most. Not really sure.
Let's hold on that. Let's come back to the exams later. Let's just first ask, which countries did you apply to and why?
So it was only Australia that I applied to. I did have Canada in mind, but my preference was to get a master's that had a time duration of 2 years. So I mean, no other country except Australia had a course that offers like a 2-year degree
in your domain, in your master's.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when I'm talking about that, I'm referring to Masters of Business.
Brilliant, awesome. And did you take any help from the counselor? Is it recommended to take help from counselors?
Yes, I did take help from counselors. Like I have attended like a couple of student fairs. Is that what they call it? Education fair.
Yeah.
Like I've probably attended like 6 of them from different organized, like different counselors. Like I've been in IDP, Student Metro, Study Metro, VIEC, Global Reach, Globalizers, and like a couple of those. So yeah, that is where I started to get an idea of how you like studying abroad works, and how the application process works, and what your eligibility criterias are, and everything of that sort. And yes, I mean, for me, because I went to a counselor, I would say going to a counselor is a good idea, because they know what needs to be done, how you would prepare yourself for your future studying abroad.
Yeah, as long as they don't mislead you,
True.
fine. Because
I mean, you still have to do your own part of your part of the research, because most of the counselors will definitely push you towards like
a specific country or a specific set of universities.
correct.
Yeah.
So I mean that's their job,
Hmm.
but you have to be adamant and more focused on what you want, and then get help from them for that.
Right. So coming back to your exams, which exams did you give? What was your score? Other prerequisites to get into your uni?
Yeah, I mean, the only exam that I had to take, fortunately, was just IELTS, and I scored an 8.5.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, it was as mentioned before, it was a preparation of about a month or two. I really don't remember because it's probably been like 2 years now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long did I prepare for it, but somewhere around the same time. And other prerequisites for my university were you need to have a minimum score of 8 CGPA in your undergrad.
On a scale of 10.
So,
like
out of 10, yeah.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 10. Correct. So yeah, those two were the minimum requirements. So yeah, I mean, other universities do have a couple of more requirements like SOPs and everything.
So you didn't even have to write your SOP for this university?
Not for University of Queensland. I applied in University of Melbourne, where an SOP was required.
Mm-hmm. So how did you shortlist universities? What was the process?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the first process, definitely, like the first step is definitely to identify what your priorities are. So for me, the university ranking, their course ranking, their course curriculum mattered the most. So yeah, I mean, in Australia, there's a group of 8 universities which are ranked among the top 8 inside Australia.
Yeah.
And most of them come in the top 100 globally, out of which I finalized like 3 wherein I found the curriculum relevant to what I wanted to do in my future.
Yeah.
And then there is this website called QILT, which did help me, compare between the universities. That's a website where they take data from current and past students to identify quite a lot of criteria, like student faculty interaction and
employment options and all.
Yeah, a post-study placement sort of a thing. I mean, placement is not a thing here, but then yeah, employment rate sort of a thing.
So holistic analysis basically.
Yeah, correct. I mean, there are a lot of scales on which that thing is measured, and fairly accurate, I would say.
So is this website specifically for Australia?
I suppose, yes. QILT.au. That's the website. So
all my viewers who are planning to go to Australia, I'll link it down in the description. So I hope you find it conducive. Now, coming to the next question, what were the 3 universities basically you applied?
Okay, so yeah, priority wise, my the top 3 that I applied to was University of Queensland, University of Melbourne, and Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the only 3 universities that I applied to anywhere apart from India, and luckily I got through in all 3. So the reply from UniSyd came around like in a week or so. University of Queensland took about 15 days, and University of Melbourne took 2 months. But yeah, that's quite a wait.
Yeah. Generally, the turnaround time is not this much. It's 6
no. So getting into University of Melbourne is tough.
Okay.
They genuinely scrutinize or grill your SOP. So yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The whole application, I believe, not the.
Yeah, the whole application.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so plus there are a lot of applications at UniMel, so it does take some time.
Brilliant. So How are the studies as compared to the study culture that we have in India? How is it different in Australia?
Uh, I mean, it's a lot different than like compared to what it is back in India. Uh, I mean, I was not a scholar per se, but yes, I mean, I did score decent, but like preparations for exams back in India were like, you could sit down with your books and notes and everything 3 days before the exam, and you could,
Yes, sir.
get a good score. But here it's like constant. You need efforts every single day. I mean, like अभी हमारा मिड सेम ब्रेक था, है अभी चल रहा है, तो उसमें 3 दिन थोड़ा ऐसे रिलैक्स हो गए थे कि हाँ ठीक है चलो मिड सेम ब्रेक है, बट जैसे ही वापस आए we started to realize like we shouldn't have taken that break because now we have like 2 submissions immediately after the break ends, and those are long ones, तो थोड़ा सा fight है. But yeah, I mean it's very different. Like back in India, the teachers used to care a lot about attendance. Cared if you paid attention in the class, and everything of that sort. Here it's every man for himself. Like if you want to attend the class, you attend the class. If you don't want to attend the class, nobody cares. If you are studying, well and good for you. If you're not, nobody cares. So again, like it's totally on you how you want to study, and if you want to study. So yeah, I mean it's very different, and like for me, I was like the last moment preparation guy, and it's not working out that way here.
You'll get the hang of it, I'm sure. It's been like one semester.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah. Anyway, what was your first thought when you landed in Australia? What was the first thing your first impression of Australia, perhaps?
Okay, so the second I landed in Brisbane, that is.
Yeah.
So during that time, we had mandatory quarantine for 14 days. So I didn't really have a lot of experience on the first day, or for the first 14 days at least. But yeah, I mean, throughout the quarantine, there were people checking up on me regularly, like from the Queensland Health team. So yeah, I mean, all I could see was people here are friendly, they care for you. Yeah, I mean, fortunately, the people I've met here are really nice. So yeah, that's about it, like about my first impression.
Did you get any cultural shock? Anything that culture-wise that is very different in Australia as compared to India?
Very different. Yes, definitely. So everything here closes around 5:30 or 6. Like majority of the things that you can, imagine, like places to eat. I don't know, like practically everything. Malls close early. I mean, coming from India and like, a place where businesses are important.
Yeah.
Like the first thought that comes to my mind is like, यहाँ businesses चलते कैसे हैं? Like सब कुछ जल्दी बंद हो जाता है. Like office hours के बाद barely anything is open. तो अगर लोग ऑफिस में हैं and बाकी सब like उसके बाद कहीं जा नहीं पा रहे, तो businesses कैसे चल रहे हैं मुझे नहीं समझ में आता.
So everyone is an early bird or something or what? There.
I suppose. I mean, not me because of course. But yeah, I mean, everything just closes way too early. So yeah, that is one shock that I got after coming here. And of course, like the diversity like is insane. Like you still find a lot of like Asians, like from India, China, Sri Lanka, like a lot of Asians actually. But it's still a very diverse culture.
Yeah. You spoke about eating out. So coming to food, how's it going for you? Like, do you cook? Did you learn to cook?
So yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for lockdown. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
it was not the best period for everybody, but it did give me the time to learn how to cook food for myself. So yeah, I do manage to cook on my own here. Like, since I have an apartment where I share a kitchen with three other people, so I still get to cook for myself. Eating out is expensive. Like, every meal would cost you at least $10. Like, if you want to fill your stomach, that is.
Yeah.
Anywhere ranging from $10 to $20. Like, $15 would be an average, but yeah,
So that's one meal.
that is one meal. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is expensive, and we try our best not to end up eating outside, but some days you just don't feel like cooking, so you just have to
Yeah.
manage somehow.
Correct. And you also told me that Australia, being a modern day country, is otherwise also pretty expensive because, perhaps getting a haircut, like you mentioned when we spoke.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, I mean, not that I love this hairstyle. I mean, of course, not that I have an option, but yeah, the haircuts are like super expensive. They start from somewhere around $15 and like go up to a couple $100, depending on where you get your haircut from. So I mean, even $15, if I save $15, like, money saved is money earned. That's what I've been applying.
Yeah, and
Here.
it would be a pretty good meal for you, like you mentioned. $15.
True. I mean,
I'd
$15
rather
is
you can
like,
get a haircut.
yeah. I mean, why would I get a haircut if I can get a good meal
Yeah,
for the same price?
totally, any day. And now coming back to your prep and everything, how was your visa experience, your visa journey? How was that?
So again, because I went to a counselor, and they were really, really helpful. Um, I did not face a lot of problem throughout the process of application of my visa, and for that matter, like, getting my visa anyways. Yeah, I mean, my counselor took care of most part of like application. He just wanted a couple of documents from me, and yeah, that was about it. Like, absolutely no pressure, no tension about not getting the visa, fortunately.
How was the interview? You were gone for the visa interview, right? How was that?
So it's not really an interview, it's like a medical test, apparently.
Yeah.
Where they just ask you a couple of questions, like if you've had tuberculosis before. That is specific to Australia.
Yeah, I know.
There it varies from country to country. Like, they may ask you something else, they may test something else. It's not really that intensive or something to worry about. They just get your chest CT scan just to check for any signs of TB, I guess. And nothing to worry about, like general blood pressure, height, weight, eyesight check, and everything. So yeah, just immediately, like, after the medical tests, I got like my visa in 2 days. But then that was back when Australian borders were not open, so the visa process was really fast.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And how about your living expense and all? Do you work part-time? How do you manage that?
So like, living expense wise, I am staying on campus. And that is about the same price as majority of student accommodations around the city. So I have a couple of friends staying like 10-15 minutes away from the university, and they are paying about the same price for a smaller room and a shared kitchen between the whole, like, complete floor or 2 floors or whatnot. So it is expensive. Like, the place that I'm living in, that's about $300 a week. But yeah, I mean, at least it is convenient for me to travel to the university. Like any building in the universities is about a 10-minute walk. So I mean, even if my lectures are at 10 o'clock and I leave my place at 9:52, I have made it to my lectures. So yeah, I mean, again, there are a few friends who live like 400 meters away from me and fortunately found an apartment and are paying 170 for a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's totally up to you how you find a good place for yourself, and if you find a good bargain, it's well and good.
And I think, did you put any effort into finding something, or you just went with the student, uni accommodation?
For the first semester, even I was inclined, and even my father wanted me to stay on campus because like it gets you involved with people inside your university. Like if you're staying somewhere outside and taking an apartment, you're probably going to stay with your friends or unknown people. Like if you're staying with your friends, your circle there is limited. So yeah, I mean, I definitely would recommend. I mean, if somebody is willing to invest that much, this is a good social interaction opportunity. Like one of my flatmates and I have become really close. He got me into basketball the second or third day I got here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we've bonded pretty well. He's from Singapore, so again, diversity in my friend circle, which I am really enjoying.
Yeah, I totally agree to that. It helps you evolve better. The different cultural experiences that you get, it enriches you, I guess.
True.
Yeah. And what is the total estimated living expense apart from the rent and all? Monthly living expense?
Again, it totally depends on how you are living. Like for me, my major expense is the rent. I spend about $150 to $160 a week on groceries and food because I do eat outside couple of times. There are a few of my friends who are like staying in accommodation with six other people, like six people staying together. So for them, they split the groceries and that's like $30 a week, which is like very fair compare. Like if you see in the Australian grocery thing, like it's pretty expensive. Everything is like highly priced. If you see the price of ginger, you would probably not think of getting or cook, like making yourself tea. It's like $50 a kg. So just
so I would say it's something between, based on what you've told me, it's something between, I would say, $1,500 to $2,000 per month, depending upon how lavish you.
Yeah, I mean, correct. Depending on how you're living. I mean, if you're eating out every day, it's going to add up to your expense.
Definitely, because I think there's no cap for making it lavish, but
exactly.
it could always be a minimum cost, and I think it would be anything like you told me. Your rent comes out to be approximately $1,200.
$1,200
a week, and your grocery would be again $600. So it makes it $1,800. Yeah. And if you eat out, any $2,000, $2,200 would be the upper limit.
Correct.
So yeah, I think that's about it. How excited were you when you already had deferred it for 3 sems? So how excited were you when you finally
Yeah. I mean, it is surprising of how neutral I was when I was leaving the Delhi International Airport, because I had absolutely no expectations. I had no idea what to look forward to. I mean, of course, I knew I was going to study, and it's going to be a completely new experience, and everything that I was about to learn. But I was still not able to understand how to react to it. So yeah, I was still fairly neutral. But after starting university, I think 2 or 3 weeks into the university, I understood how stressful it was. So yeah.
How are the weather conditions in Australia as compared to India?
I mean, depending on the city that you're in, like Brisbane is fairly tropical. The sun is like uh, punishing.
Yeah.
Super hot. But yeah, I mean, I mean, यहाँ पे ठंडी का मौसम चालू हो रहा है, so it is getting better. Not the sun, just the weather in general. Like if you're not wearing sunscreen outside, you are definitely getting 2 shades of your skin, which I already have.
Right. No, but I've heard ज़्यादा ठंड होती नहीं है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में. Is that true?
I mean, जैसे अगर इंदौर से कंपेयर करें तो डेफिनेटली ठंड कम है, बट जैसे जो लोग मुंबई से आ रहे हैं या थोड़ा सा कोस्टल एरिया से आ रहे हैं जिन्हें ठंड की इतनी आदत नहीं है, मतलब जहाँ पे 24-23 में हुडीज निकल आती है, उनके लिए तो डेफिनेटली ठंडा है.
Right, totally, I agree. And give me one good thing and one bad thing about your uni.
Good thing is, I mean, there are a lot of good things here.
I need one.
Okay. I would say the way you grow, in this university, like I was never a sports person. Like I don't watch any sports. I try my best to play as many sports as possible, but I wasn't really active sports wise. But यहाँ के like I have picked up a couple of sports, जैसे basketball pick up करा है, बीच में बैडमिंटन वापस से चालू करा था, स्केटिंग वापस से चालू करी. So yeah, I mean, along with your academic learning, you get to like involve yourself in sports or like any physical activity that you want, and you have enough freedom to do that, which is something really nice. And I mean, again, diversity does come into play.
And the bad part, I need one bad thing also.
Bad, I mean, it is difficult to like mention a bad thing considering it's just been like 7 weeks into the university. But again, I mean, it's probably going to be the stress that you have with assignments, because like the assessment criteria here is like not exams. It's continuous evaluation, like class participation, like weekly assessments, case studies, your own research work. Like it is hectic. It gets stressful at times. It is taxing, and other synonyms.
Yeah.
I could go on, but yeah, I mean, that is probably going to be the only downside. But again, I mean, this is ultimately what I was here for.
It teaches you something. No
matter. Yeah, everything is teaching me something or the other, which is exactly what I was here for, and grateful for it.
Brilliant. Any tips to our viewers who are planning to come to Australia for their masters or bachelors, perhaps?
Okay. Yeah. So there is no single ideal college. Like for me, an ideal college would be different from what yours would be. Like it is a totally subjective answer. You just need to see what your priorities are. For some people, the course ranking, university ranking would matter, such as myself. Then there are people for whom PR matters, so they look for universities in regional areas and move their path that way. I mean, it's totally subjective. Absolutely do not go with what others have to say, for universities at least, कि वो इस यूनिवर्सिटी में जा रहा है तो अच्छी होगी, मैं भी वहीं जाता हूँ.
Yeah, so everybody has a different dream university.
Correct. And again, like when we talked about counselors are definitely going to push you for a certain country or a certain university, like looking at their benefits, but you have to be adamant, and you have to do your own research, and you have to set your priorities and just go for what you're looking for. Don't compromise on that.
And what are your plans? Do you plan to settle or do you plan to come back?
So yeah, I mean, so far my plan is to study, maybe get a work experience for a year or two, since the post-study work visa has been extended from 2 years to 3. So I'll probably look for a job opportunity here, get my experience in the industry, and then head back home and join my family business. That's the plan.
So the job prospects are pretty good in general for other courses as well.
Again, so it totally depends on how well you do in your university and how well you prepare yourself for your employability. So like, unlike India, there are no on-campus placements, or like the university is not going to bother to bring in companies and set up interviews for you. They are going to help you out to build your portfolio, to build your resume and everything. Like, amazing support team, but it is totally up to you and how you want to work, and how you look for opportunities for yourself, and how you approach people for your job. So again, it is very subjective, and I am a little far away from that phase, so not the best person to comment on it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely look for opportunities for interning as of now. But उसमें भी problem ये था कि like most of the people are looking for students who are in their last semester, because उनका ये रहता है कि अगर हम 3-4 महीना invest कर रहे हैं interns में, so we would expect them to join us
right after the training period.
After their training, yeah, right. So yeah,
fair point. So how was your experience, Ronak? It was amazing to have you. And
yeah, I mean, I am really thankful that you thought of bringing me on your channel, which is really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, why not? And if you guys want Ronak to come again to our channel once he lands up, one of the best jobs, which he will, I'm sure. So do comment in the comment section, and I'll make sure that I'll get him back. And I hope you found this video conducive. I hope Australian aspirants, people who are planning to come to Australia, find this helpful. Find all the information that they were looking for. And I'll link down Ronak's Instagram handle and LinkedIn profile, so you could ping him, right?
Anytime.
Yeah, very helpful guy. So you could be like very chill with it. And I guess that's all from my side. This is VC along with Ronak signing off.